Good afternoon. Welcome to Aqueduct Insider. As we're watching the Harrows manicure the track. Looks like they'll be getting the main track ready pretty soon, but let me bring in my co-host, Maggie Wolfendale. I'm Richard Migliore. Maggie, beautiful day today. Really felt like the first day that maybe spring is actually going to come about.
I know. I just really can't wait for it to be warmer out, standing outside, being outside all day. I kind of empathize with the jocks having to wear nearly nothing, and it's still pretty cold and bitter out, so April can't get here fast enough.
No, it can't, and we're not that far away from the Wood Memorial, and that brings us to our headlines. 3-year-olds, always the talk this time of year, and yesterday's winner of the Spiral, Dubai Sky, he supplemented to the Kentucky Derby, and he's going to head to Churchill Downs and train up to the race there.
Yeah, the owner's putting up the $6 grand needed to supplement horses to the Derby and the Triple Crown races. This was a dominating performance, but Richie, this is over a synthetic surface down there at Turfway Park. He's a horse who has run his best races thus far up until this race on the turf, though is a fool to Twirling Candy, who was capable of running on all 3 surfaces.
He really did, although does this have the feel to you of like Animal Kingdom, who won the Spiral over synthetic and then trained exceptional at Churchill Downs?
Yeah, I'm sure that's kind of the mindset that they're going into Churchill with. At least that's what they're hoping for. He's a horse who I actually really liked a lot going back to the summertime at Saratoga when he debuted as a 2-year-old. I remember he had some gait issues. He was a late scratch, so it's kind of been a while getting him developed, but now he's put it all together, and he looks to be pretty promising for his connections.
Well, I think he's got the right trainer in Bill Mott, who will make the right call after he watches him train there, whether they should press and go forward.
Yeah, similar to Graham Motion, I'm sure. Bill and Graham, very kind of reserved guys, and really watch their horse and let the horse do the talking.
So, well, a little bit closer to home are Withers and, or is it actually Jerome and Gotham winner. El Kabir worked this morning on the training track with Simon Harrison. Went a pretty good 5/8, and I know you got to speak with Simon.
I did. The official time for the work was 59-4. He was led by a stablemate, still a maiden, so you can't really compare the competition. But set off several lengths behind, was at him at the 3/8 pole, and just drew away easily when Simon gave him a little squeeze. And Simon has talked about the development of this horse, how much he has mentally matured in the short time over the last couple months here in the winter. I asked him too, because I always seen him training out almost around 10:30, which is when the training track's closing, and he says that has a bit to do with him learning to relax. There's a lot less action out there, a lot less horses, and it's kind of turned him off, and it's enabled his trainer, John Terranova, assistant Tanya, and wife, and Simon to kind of make him more pliable.
Well, and it's really worked. I mean, they've got him where they can switch him off, use his speed when the rider wants to use it. Can you remember a time in your dealings with horses, working with your dad or now with Tom Morley, or maybe even when you were with Leah Giamardi, where you had to work with a horse to get him to switch off like that?
Oh, totally. So many times you have to do it, whether it's, just kind of jogging them the wrong way or taking them to the pony track. A lot of times horses are too aggressive, and you got to find the right kind of time. I know Jimmy Jerkins did it with Wicked Strong. He would train him right before the first break on the Belmont training track, and you're thinking, oh man, this track is really cut up, but it's when he was most relaxed and they got the best training out of him.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch how these young horses develop, and they change so much this time of year. And we've got a couple of horses that will be coming in from South Florida, Todd Pletcher's, both far from over, who actually beat El Kabir, and Daredevil had their works at Palm Beach Downs yesterday. Yeah,
and it sounds as though they're going to be heading up north here for trainer Todd Pletcher. I mean, far from over. He was a resilient winner of the Withers after getting away poorly, and we'll check out Daredevil here winning the Champagne, and I mean, he has yet to get back to his 2-year-old form, I think, but obviously Todd thinks highly of him still.
I thought his start in the swale was good, and I think this entry, even though there'll probably be an uncoupled entry, Far From Over, and Daredevil, hailing from the same barn, complement each other. Daredevil has an abundance of speed, and Far From Over came from well back after stumbling.
Yeah, I agree. Far From Over feels like a horse to me who you can kind of put him anywhere, and he really showed this in the Withers, only his second start of his career, but you're right. Daredevil does kind of have that blinding speed that they have to use. I mean, they can't, I don't think they're going to change tactics too much going into the Woodward, but I'm really excited to see what this horse does. He's a horse that I've liked a lot in both of his very limited starts.
And just to have such, varying ways of doing it. Obviously, the stumble created that, but you'd think they'd want him to relax and rate. Just take the stumble out of the equation.
Yes, exactly. I'm sure that's going to be the game plan going forward.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great day of racing here as we head towards the Wood Memorial. And on that Wood Memorial card, you'll also get a free cap, a TwinSpires.com Wood Memorial cap with a purchase of a post-parade program or a voucher. And it's going to be a great day of racing. We also have the Grade 1 card of that day, amongst other stakes. And to me, that's when we know we're really on top of springtime, Derby time, and of course, not too far away from Belmont.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of the key preps leading into the Derbies, exactly a month out. A lot of the big names come in prep here in New York.
Yep, so something to look forward to as spring is officially here, although the weather hasn't fully cooperated. But we had a great edition of the Stymie today. Let's throw it up to John Imbrial for the call.
Turco Bravo and Cousin Steven from the outside. Vijack broke well. It was a close-up third. Down at the rail is North Slope and Micromanage. They come under the line for the first time, and it is Cousin Steven in front by a length. There goes Vijack, now moving up on the outside and going up to challenge Cousin Steven for the lead. So it's Cousin Steven, Vijack, 1-2 into the turn. Turco Bravo down at the rail runs in third. And then North Slope. And the trailer is Micromanage. The opening quarter was run in 24 1/5 seconds. They've reached the backstretch, and it's Cousin Steven in front here by a head. Vijack on the outside in second, with Turco Bravo riding the rails in third. North Slope, Micromanage right together, fourth and fifth, 3.5 lengths separates the field of 5 as they race midway up the backstretch, and it is Cousin Steven, the leader here by a length. Vijack continues to chase in second, with Turco Bravo towards the rail in third. North Slope and Micromanage, positions unchanged after a half in 49 seconds, and now they're heading into the far turn. Cousin Steven in front. Right from the start, continues to lead here. Cousin Steven, 3/4 of a length. Vijack on the outside in second. Turco Bravo, North Slope, their heads apart, third and fourth. And Micromanage trails as they come for the quarter pole, 3/4 in 1:13 4. And it's Cousin Steven, the one to catch in front here, length and a half. North Slope is on the outside of Vijack. Turco Bravo's now coming on through. Micromanage at the back. Cousin Steven, here's Turco Bravo. Cousin Steven, Turco Bravo. North Slope is third. Cousin Steven on the inside. Turco Bravo driving on the outside. Turco Bravo upsets the field in the Stymie.
Well, under a terrific ride by Jose Ortiz, Turco Bravo, the longest shot in a short field, gets the money. This was a good ride and a heck of a run.
It really was. I mean, Cousin Steven and Kendrick Carmouche gave this horse a perfect ride as well. Just too much for Turco Bravo, or not enough for Turco Bravo, I should say, who got up by a long neck in the end. And he was a horse who was knocking on the door each time, but I think kind of the wins of the other horses kind of overshadowed him a bit.
Yeah, I think people do see that. I thought this horse has run competitive with these other horses, and in hindsight, 9-1 was probably a pretty big price for him.
Exactly, in a short field.
Yeah, but a terrific run from him, and I know you got to catch up with the winning trainer, Gary Contessa.
I did. We'll see what he has to say.
Here with the upset winner of today's Stymie, trainer Gary Contessa training Turco Bravo here, and a horse who has been close in these route races, these stake races here at Aqueduct, finally gets it done today. What was the key?
Well, today he got the trip. Today was the perfect trip. He's been training great. He was in yesterday at Laurel, too. He decided to scratch and run here. And I just think the distance, I think the more distance for him, he's a South American horse. Those horses want to run all day long. And I think more distance is going to be better for this horse. So today was 1 1/8, and I wouldn't mind seeing him in 1 1/4 either.
Now, you acquired this horse after his first race in the States, a fast one down at Gulfstream. What caught your eye about him?
Well, I like the way he closed. It was his first time in this country, and he was the price was right. And I said to my owners, you know, we'll win every stake at Aqueduct this winter, and we went the whole winter and didn't win any, and I'm glad he got to vindicate himself.
I'm sure as well for the owners. And looking forward to the Wood, which is in a couple weeks. Nice filly of yours, Shea Jolie. She might be heading to a race that day.
We're certainly going to look at the distaff with her on Wood Day, and she deserves it. I mean, she's a 1 1/8 horse. She's got a great pedigree, and hopefully she can deliver.
Well, Gary, best of luck with both of your horses.
Thank you so much.
Well, great insight, Maggie, from Winning Moves Stable and Gary Contessa to go and pick this horse up.
Yeah, I mean, he ran a fast race that day down at Gulfstream, and you got to be watching horses all over the country because you never know what you might find. And he's been, I think, a welcome addition, I'm sure, to the barn to run competitively throughout the winter against these big horses from big stables. He's done it, and it was really rewarding to see him finally get the win.
And I think he made a great point, too. A lot of the South American horses do possess that stamina, so as they go further, you know that he'll have a say in it. But we got a lot more action to get to as we're going to take our first time out here on Aqueduct Insider, and we'll be back with a lot more racing action. As there we take a look at some past Remsen winners. I always thought a great race, Maggie, is a barometer for horses that wanted to go on. Not many 2-year-olds get to run a 1.1 miles on the dirt, even though it's late in the fall. It's a race, to me, pointed out a lot of good horses over the years.
The Honor Code, namely one of them, as we saw to the far left there. He's been an exceptional horse for Shook McGay. He doesn't run that often, but when he does, he puts in some brilliant performances.
And I like him, actually, when he goes shorter. He comes from so far back with that flying finish.
And his head down low, he just lowers himself, and that last straightaway down to the wire, he explodes.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see him here in the Met Mile, actually on Belmont Stakes Day, which should be a great card. But we got a little more racing action to get to. We got Maiden Fillies going 1.70 miles.
For number 6, Dickinson, and now Dickinson unseats jockey Junior Alvarado. So you have a loose horse at the back of the pack. Going into the clubhouse turn, All Too Many from that inside post, and Vitani. All Too Many with the lead. Vitani runs in second on the outside. It's Tis the Fast Lane. Say Sin Sin. Down at the rail is Rapid Repair as they head for the backstretch, and it's All Too Many in front by almost a length. Vitani runs in second. Rapid Repair is third. Tis the Fast Lane on the outside in fourth. Say Sin Sin alongside in fifth, with Strum in sixth, and The Road Not Taken is seventh. The quarter, 24 2/5 seconds. All Too Many leads here by a length. Vitani is second. And down on the inside is Rapid Repair. Alongside, Tis the Fast Lane. Those two right together, third and fourth. Say Sin Sin, Strum are together. And The Road Not Taken continues to trail. Half mile, 50 2/5 seconds. All Too Many has the lead as the field races around the club far turn. It's All Too Many by a half length now. Vitani is second. Tis the Fast Lane on the outside in third. Rapid Repair has dropped 4 lengths from the lead. And they're all chasing All Too Many, who's asked for a bit more as they come to the top of the stretch. 3/4 went in 1, 16 3. All Too Many in front by 3. Rapid Repair down on the inside moves to second. Then it's Vitani. Far outside is The Road Not Taken. All Too Many is still there. Rapid Repair giving chase, but will not catch All Too Many. A front-running winner. Rapid Repair was second. The Road Not Taken finished third, and Strum.
Well, Maggie, All Too Many got an absolutely easy lead. Post 1, Kendrick Carmouche puts on lead. The complexion of the race was changed drastically when Dickinson lost Junior Alvarado at the break.
It really was. I mean, Dickinson, she looked like the speed on paper. She was a filly stretching out. She wasn't too far out of it in her sprint races. And when she broke badly, stumbling and then colliding with the 5, obviously Junior lucky to land as well as he did. But a great ride by Kendrick Carmouche, carving out solid but steady fractions. And I mean, we even noticed him pulling down his goggles, and he was on the front end. You brought up an interesting point about that.
Yeah, I always think that when riders are in front, you see them pull down a pair of goggles. It's like they have so much horse on them, and they don't want to ask the horse too much yet, but they need to do something. And to me, that's a tell. A rider has a lot of horse underneath him, and I think Kendrick Carmouche has been a great addition to this jockey colony, and he's been riding very well.
He really has, and he's riding for big outfits, too, which always helps.
Yeah, that's it. When you ride for the right people, get the right opportunities, and make the most of them, and he's a guy, to me, can stick around year-round in New York.
Yeah, and he very well may.
Well, we hope so. He's, like I said, all the talent we can get here we want. Let's head on to race 5. We're going 6 furlongs, an allowance race. John Imbrial with the call.
And they're off. Sustainable and Bossy Saratoga strike out for the lead. Bossy Saratoga now goes on with it to take the lead from Sustainable. Court Dancer gains ground, and Court Dancer is now moving up into second, just a half length off of Bossy Saratoga. Flaring's on the outside of Sustainable. Those two heads apart, third and fourth. Then it's Dulcify, and Wraith is the trailer. And the quarter was running 23-3. Bossy Saratoga down at the rail leads by a long neck over the 6-5 favorite Court Dancer as the field races midway on the turn. Bossy Saratoga, Court Dancer, they're 1-2. They've got 2 lengths on Flaring, who's running in third with Sustainable. Farther back, it's Dulcify in fifth. The field comes into the stretch. The half in 47 2/5 seconds. Bossy Saratoga at the rail. Court Dancer on the outside. And here comes Sustainable, gaining ground out in the middle of the track. It is Sustainable. Right alongside of Bossy Saratoga, Sustainable takes the lead now. And Sustainable wins it by a length. Bossy Saratoga was second. Court Dancer finished third.
Well, Sustainable gets the money with a nice ride from Junior Alvarado, who we saw unseated in race 4 from Dickinson. And we'll take a look at this, Maggie. And she stumbles really hard and, like you said, collides. And he just could never regain his balance.
Wow.
I mean, he did everything he could. Now, watch after he hits the ground how frustrated he is. He's more mad than anything else. You're going to see him kind of slam the ground. You know what? I don't mind that from a rider. When you're frustrated and you're mad about something, and then he picks himself up, dusts himself off, comes back with a great ride here in the 5th on Sustainable for Kieran McLaughlin, who is a trainer of Dickinson. And I think this just underscores how tough jockeys are in general.
Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, you know, the fact that you can, you know, dust yourself off and get back up and you're winning races 20 minutes later is a real testament to the athleticism that these jockeys possess. I mean, they are true athletes. They're tough as well.
Physically and mentally.
Exactly.
Because also, you know, you hit the ground, you bounce back up, you go out and do your job, but also you got to put it behind you and that frustration of that moment.
And two, I mean, I'm sure he was frustrated. He was going 1 for 20-something heading into to this card, so his frustrations and his emotions were on his sleeve there, but you couldn't help but empathize with the guy.
Oh, absolutely. And then to put it behind him and deliver this kind of ride, I think that's why Junior Alvarado's been having the success he's had. And kudos to him for being able to do that.
Yeah, really.
Well, we got 6 more to get to. The sensational 6. John Imbrial will run you through them.
But now up to third. Then it's Ganador, Kitchen Police, and Flo's Greatness. Glickman with a commanding lead as they come into the stretch. Ran the half in 47 seconds. And Glickman has a 7-length lead. Lila's Jazz continues to advance down at the rail, but Glickman has the big lead, and the 2-5 favorite is on to victory here. It's Glickman, much the best. Lila's Jazz was second, then Ganador and Good Harbor. And it's Thomas Knight and Divine Storm. In the stretch, Subcontractor is holding off Can't Catch Jack. Subcontractor by 2.5 lengths. Can't Catch Jack in second. On the outside is Dominic Smile, then Essence at Noon, and Thomas Knight. Subcontractor opens up in the stretch. Subcontractor on to victory here. 1 by 6. Thomas Knight was second, and Can't Catch Jack finished third. At the top of the stretch, Neptune Road trying to pull off the upset now with a 3-length lead over the favorite Taylor Jagger. Hoop Skirt is in third. Neptune Road in front with a furlong to the finish. Neptune Road by 4 lengths. Then Taylor Jagger, followed by Hoop Skirt. Maxana, who was way out of it, makes a late run, but will not get to the winner. Neptune Road, 1 by 3. Close for second at the end between Taylor Jagger for home. Williams Lucky Gray and Zippity Zoom, followed by Under the Moonlight. It's Sharp Quality in front as they come down for the furlong marker. Sharp Quality in front by 6. Under the Moonlight drop back to 4th. Then it's Pete's Fleet, and there's a 1/4 mile to the finish. Ride a Cat, chased here by Shinnecock Bay, and Shinnecock Bay is moving up, and here comes Lulu Rocks on the outside. Pete's Fleet is 4th. eighth of a mile to the finish. Shinnecock Bay, Lulu rocks, Pete's Fleet. Sidearm is coming on, dives down to the rail, and Jackser Wild is looking to split horses. They come for the finish. It's Lulu rocks to win it. Close for second. Between third and Livion Love, then Kathy Schumer, half mile 47-1. Lakeside Sunset has a 4-length lead. Tricky Zippy is in second. Camille Storm is down at the rail. Kathy Schumer moving up on the outside of Livion Love, and then it's Magical Miss. But nobody's going to catch Lakeside Sunset, who takes the nightcap here. Won by almost 4. Camille Storm was second. And Tricky Zippy.
We want to apologize for that little video glitch right in the midst of like between the 7th and 8th. But I think we still got the gist of everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we made so much of Junior Alvarado bouncing back from that bad stumble coming off Dickinson. How about the second race today? Jose Ortiz on number 4, Divine Storm. Keep your eyes on this filly. Stumbles is about as bad 3 times in a row. Her head is completely underneath her, in between her legs, and somehow she was able to get up, Maggie, and somehow he was able to stay in the saddle. He
didn't even lose his irons. I thought that was pretty impressive as well. And, you know, you can't blame him. She unfortunately was the favorite. You can't blame him for kind of, you know, easing her out, just making sure everything's okay, because that was about as wicked as a stumble you can possibly experience. I mean, running on her knees, theoretically, for 6 strides.
Yeah, remarkable that she got up at all. Even more remarkable that Jose stayed in the saddle, and he did the right thing. At that point, you got to take care of the horse, make sure she's okay. So hats off to him for just being able to stay on in that spot. We had some claims today, though. There were no claims yesterday, obviously, as there were no claiming races. But today, a little busy at the box. Glickman, who you could have had for $10,000 last time, went to Michelle Nevern for $12,500 this time. 3-way shake in race 2 also for Thomas Knight.
I thought that was really interesting and good claim. Gary Contessa ended up with Thomas Knight. He had been running well. He kept dropping in $20,000 or $10,000 increments. This was his 3rd start. He ran really well again. So I think that was a good pickup. And Taylor Jagger, Nick Essler, his longtime companion, gets claimed for $10,000 today.
Wow, so he'll have dinner in somebody else's barn tonight.
Yeah.
And Gary Gullo, actually, also busy at the claim box lately. Well, we're turning for home here on Insider. We'll be back in a few moments to wrap up this day of racing. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Well, it says it. Summer starts here. The 147th running of the Belmont Stakes, and tickets are on sale now. You can go to BelmontStakes.com, and I can't imagine, Maggie, wanting to be anyplace else in the world but Belmont Park that whole entire week if you're a racing fan.
No, the 3 days, Thursday through Saturday, $10 million on the line, 17 stake races, most of them grade 1s, if you will, and the Met Mile moved to Belmont Stakes Day is really kind of a premier race for that older handicap division, and you always see the biggest names coming from everywhere in the country meeting early on, and it's kind of a tell as to what we're going to see later on in the year with these handicap horses.
Absolutely. We're certainly going to see some top performances there, but we had some top performances to talk about from this past week, and certainly out of the Claiming Championship Day, I think this might have been the most impressive performance here, Maggie. Groomed for Me, winning the Videogenic.
This came back such a fast race, Richie. She earned a 106 buyer for first time in New York, first time Jacobson, and turning back in distance, and she relished it. There's no doubt about that under Cornelio Velasquez here, and she ran away from this field and ran faster than any of the boys today for the distance.
Yeah, she was ultra impressive. You knew she was a winner around the turn. And a horse that shows up every time, another performer of the week. NF's Destiny, just another great performance from him.
All about heart and speed with NF's Destiny going out for Gustavo Rodriguez, and in those ever recognizable dub silks. And I mean, he just kind of led him on a merry chase.
Yeah, well, and he was winning the Kelly Kip. That's how Kelly Kip did things. So
yeah.
Kind of a nice way to honor Alan Jerkins this week with the Kelly Kip Stakes. And then I'll nominate this right now for Race of the Winter. These 3 horses slugged it out to the wire.
They really did, and 2 of the 3 were huge prices. As we'll see, the Gray Wealth for Me was one of the favorites, but Days Ride and Bamada, both sitting above 20 to 1, laid it all on the line. We'll actually eventually see the horse in the middle get up and win. And as a rider, that doesn't usually tend to happen, right? It's usually outside.
Yeah, it's usually the outside has a little edge, but Irad Ortiz was well into Days Ride, and he almost looked like he got more interested when that horse came on his outside. That was a terrific race and a terrific ride by Irad Ortiz. But talk about hot jockeys, well, it's another Ortiz, his brother, Jose Ortiz. He's been the hot jockey quite a few times this winter.
Yeah, he's our leading jockey here at the Aqueduct Intermeet. So we'll see if he can maintain that when the big boys come back, but looking at everything this winter, he'll be right up there, top 5.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a terrific year all the way through, as will his brother. And actually, Irad won the Belmont meet last fall, showing that they can compete with these guys on a daily basis. We got the jockey standings coming up, and let's see if Irad tightened it up a bit on his brother. No, he kind of kept that 10-win margin. Jose, Manny Franco getting back in the swing of things off of that suspension. And Angel Cruz rode the early double today. Nice to see him having as good a winter. Of course, we've talked about Junior Alvarado riding terrific all year.
And Angel down in Maryland picking up a stakes win. Bridget's Big Lovey in the private terms.
Yeah, a lot of talent on that list for sure. Our hot trainer, got to be David Jacobson, right?
Another guy that we see a lot this winter.
Yeah, then here is the filly going into the winner's circle yesterday, groomed for me. David's in Dubai.
Yes.
He's getting Solitos Amigo ready for the Golden Shaheen. And what a week, 5 for 10. You'd like to hit 50%, huh?
Yeah, really? Wouldn't we all? As he is, as you were saying, not here. He's in Dubai. I hope he's enjoying himself. You have to when you go over there for the carnival.
What an experience. He's got a 13 win over Linda Rice and Gary Gullo, another guy having a terrific winter.
As we will check out some owners, as we check out the Empire State Building, and none other than David Jacobson topping the list of the owners as well. It's just David Jacobson's world. We're just living in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to see Michael Dubb and Rapoli drawing away. Stable with a big stake win today. And, of course, Chester and Mary Broman, big supporters of the New York Breeding Program and New York racing in general. Maggie, we don't have our handicapper inside today, but I know you had some thoughts maybe for Thursday.
Yeah, I will fill in for Andy and do a studio/paddock insider as we'll take a look at race number 5. It's a maiden claiming 25 for the New York bred fillies. We're going the mile distance, and a filly second-time starter didn't show up at all in a maiden special weight first time out is Xana's Giant. She gets more distance. She is a long, lanky, scopy filly. She is crying out for more ground. She gets the class relief, and I thought it was interesting that Sheldon Russell actually came up and rode her first time out, came up from Maryland, so they must have thought a bit of this filly. So I think with all those factors in, I think she'll be able to maybe turn the tables.
Okay, something to look for on Thursday for sure. And don't forget, this week, National Racing Report, only Andy Serling and myself, as Jason was on vacation. But Jason will be back Thursday. It's been great working with you over the past few days. Fun doing the Insider. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week, right back here on MSG Plus.